unconscious, it's subconscious, it's in our body, it's in our nervous system. So every bad habit, every distraction is essentially an addictive behavior. We're all addicts to some degree. We all have addictive behaviors, which equals bad habits to some degree. We all have some kind of distraction, which is an addictive behavior to some degree. We're all human, and the imperfection is what makes up the human experience. It's a beautiful day. Just checking out the waves, see how doable they look. It's too crazy. I'm not getting in the ocean. It looks all right, but report says that there's another swell that's supposed to be rebuilding today. Anyway, I think I'll find a spot. It's okay. So one thing I wanted to really share is that I know I talk a lot about addiction here on this channel, and I'm just starting off with that. My main focus is, in actuality, liberation, mentally, emotionally, physically, and socially. That is my main focus, is liberation of the mind, the body, and the soul. But I talk about addiction because, like I've said in previous videos, it's probably one of the biggest, most challenging obstacles to our liberation. And the tricky thing is, a lot of people will change the channel, turn off the video because they're like, well, I'm not an addict, this doesn't apply to me. The ironic thing is, we're actually all addicts in some way, shape, or form. So an addiction, a distraction, a bad habit are all addictions of some sort. They're all underlying ways to avoid a problem and to distract ourselves from a problem. And there is a sense of no control over it. It's always a sense, or it's always a mechanism to escape inner pain. All of it is always some kind of mechanism to escape some kind of inner pain of feeling unsafe in our bodies or in our situation, feeling insecure or feeling inadequate. But they're all kind of tied together. And so although I say that we are all addicts to some degree, we all have bad habits. Every bad habit is a repeated behavior that is underlying, trying to numb some kind of pain, some kind of unprocessed pain, and usually we're not aware of it. Most cases we're not aware of it. We're not aware of the unmet need that it's trying to fulfill, that it's trying to meet, and it's a repeated behavior that we cannot stop. It's almost automatic and unconscious. It's subconscious. It's in our body. It's in our nervous system. So every bad habit, every distraction is essentially an addictive behavior.
It's an addictive behavior.
So by that definition, and especially people like Dr. Gabor Mate, who I reference quite a bit because he has been such a pioneer in the space of addiction, by his definition as well, every bad habit falls under that definition. The ironic thing though is that the key to all of this is to understand that we will never get rid of all of our bad habits. I repeat, we will never get rid of all of our bad habits. We will never be what human beings like to think of as perfect. The truth is, in nature, the imperfection is perfect. The imperfection is what keeps us growing. There's an old ancient Buddhist saying called Wabi Sabi. Now, Wabi Sabi is a Zen philosophy from the Buddhists that basically embraces the beauty of imperfection and the beauty of impermanence, the beauty of aging, and all the gems that come with aging. There's beauty in the imperfection, and from my own experience and me witnessing other people's journey of trying to break distractions, bad habits, addictions, whatever you want to call it, you can label it whatever you want, is the ability to accept that to some degree we will always have some kind of distraction. We will always have some kind of bad habit. We'll always have some kind of addictive behavior. Addiction isn't just, to substances. Just like Gabor Mate says too. Dr. Gabor Mate says one of his greatest addictions is to the work that he does. And he said there's such a fine line to it because he can get so carried away from it, neglect his health, neglect his family, his closest relationships, and his work encourages and glorifies and rewards his contribution. So he gets the validation, he gets all of the things that he never got when he was a child, feeling seen, feeling loved, recognized, so he says it's such a fine line that he needs to balance every single day. And this is true for all of us. Like for me, I have my own distractions. I can get so carried away with work as well. And in fact, I mentioned in one of my videos that probably one of my greatest distractions is perfection. My greatest addictions is trying to seek perfection, which is impossible. It actually goes against nature. And the fact that I'm aware of this, I've had to grow being okay with this. Like I had to just come to this place where I realize that I'm never going to ever achieve that. And that alone, learning to regulate my nervous system in that space where I'm okay with not achieving perfection and being okay with imperfection. The imperfection of, and again, it's just my perception of imperfection, because according to nature, according to God, the universe, everything is perfect. The process is perfect. So I think for my own journey on how it's really helped me to overcome at least the really detrimental addictive behaviors, the really harmful and jeopardizing addictive behaviors, is to acknowledge this imperfection, to love this imperfection, and to see the beauty in it, to see what it's giving me, the wisdom it's been giving me, the wisdom it's been giving me to share with other people, and the strength it's developed in me. And also by embracing this part of me, it's helped me embrace this part of other people. So when I see other people that are struggling with certain things, to the degree that I start judging and forgetting that I was there too, or that I still have this little balancing act to do with my own life every single day, if I forget that, the universe, the you-inverse, reminds me real quick that I am just like those people that I judge. I am just like those people. And maybe I'll get like a flare-up, I'll get like this intense craving for porn or whatever. And I've come to this place where I used to, well, in the beginning, obviously I had such a hardcore porn addiction, and I never really cared whether or not I stopped watching it. And then I got to this place where I wanted to heal, and I started to like really judge that part of me. I really started to hate that part of me. Like why are you so weak? Why am I so, you know, weak in that area? Why am I not able to control this? And that only made things worse. So from my own experience, when I start to have compassion for this side of me and accept the imperfection and to see the beauty in the imperfection, you know, I don't even stop to acknowledge all of the other addictive behaviors that I have cut out, which is an addictive behavior in itself. It's like cutting out one addiction wasn't enough. It's like I need to cut out more and more and more. I need to cut out this addiction. I need to cut out that addiction. I need to. So you see, it's such a weird archetype that it just clings onto something else. Like I need to be more and more perfect and more controlled over every aspect of myself. But the more I start to embrace this imperfect side of me, the cravings kind of stop. It's like so counterintuitive. It's like the more I stop focusing on that and just be okay with being imperfect and start loving myself and also loving other people and compassionately seeing other people going through their thing, it's really done some kind of crazy wonders in my life. Like it's really helped me to stop focusing on those things. And I just read a quote recently by Dr. Natasha McBride, who's a gut health rehabilitation specialist, in one of her books called Put Your Heart Where Your Mouth Is. She has a quote that says, if you dig a hole long enough, your whole world will become that hole. And that like just hit me so hard, because that's exactly what was happening when I started to focus on the problem too much, focus on like the addiction, the distraction, that bad habit, the addictive behavior. If I focus on it too much, that becomes my world. It's like the problem becomes so big and it seems so impossible, and I also start hating that part. But there's such a nuance to it. There's such a fine line between just being aware of it and then not letting it become your entire world. So when I talk about addiction, when I talk about addictive behavior, bad habits, distractions, we all have it, and we need to be aware of it to a certain extent. And I cannot tell you what extent that is. Only you can decide what extent that is for you, where the threshold is for you to become so aware of it, but not to where that problem becomes your world. You know, there's that saying, what we focus on expands. What we focus on expands. But there's a caveat, like to everything I say. We can't just be completely oblivious and naive to the problem that is really in the way of what we're trying to achieve in this life, or what we're trying to be in this life. So there's such a fine balance, and I cannot tell you what that line is. You have to figure that out for yourself. But I did want to say and share all this with you, that yes, we're all addicts to some degree. We all have addictive behaviors, which equals bad habits to some degree. We all have some kind of distraction, which is an addictive behavior to some degree. But I wanted you to know that perfection is a pipe dream. It doesn't exist. The process is perfect. The process is perfect. And to learn how to be compassionate with yourself will help you learn to be compassionate with other people, and probably even help you inspire other people and help other people. But that line is up to you. So there are going to be bad habits that really jeopardize our health, wealth, love, and happiness, and distractions that jeopardize our health, wealth, love, and happiness. But I can't define that for you. I can't tell you what habits those are. It seems like every time I'm talking to the camera, some kind of plane or chopper needs to fly really low above my head. But yeah, I needed to share that with everyone, and I just want you to know that we're all human, and the imperfection is what makes up the human experience. And I can say though, we have the power to let go of these destructive behaviors, addictive behaviors, and distractions that are jeopardizing our health, wealth, love, and happiness. But it's so counterintuitive. It's because we have to embrace it. We have to kind of love it and not exile it. We have to come to this place where we're okay with imperfection. We have to remember Wabi Sabi. There is beauty in imperfection. There is such a humbling that comes with this imperfection. And Sabi, the impermanence of life, there's such a beauty to the impermanence and this fleeting experience where we get to learn and grow in wisdom, and grow in understanding of ourselves, grow in compassion of ourselves and of other people. There's so much nuance to all of this, and a lot of it is so counterintuitive when you really grasp the paradox of life, the paradox of God, the paradox of us. So like I was saying, we will never reach perfection, but I do think we can at least let go of things that are truly jeopardizing our health, wealth, love, and happiness. And again, I'm going to repeat it. I can't tell you what that line is that you cross for that, what your threshold is. You have to figure that out for yourself. And just remember, embracing the impermanence and the imperfection of it all is the key. Like having compassion for it and seeing the beauty in this human experience, it somehow pulls your head out of that hole. But it's a courageous act. It really takes courage to let go of these things, to let go of these addictive behaviors, these distractions. It takes courage because underlying all of it is this pain of an unmet need, and we've been meeting this unmet need in a toxic way for most of us, and we've not been aware of it. But yeah, it's a beautiful day. I'm gonna jump in the water, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Jai Ho.